mind introducing yourselves and telling us a little bit about Twin Liquors?
Yes, I'm Michael Salome. I'm actually the eldest of Twin Liquors' fourth generation. Been in the family business pretty much my entire life, and that's not an understatement. I grew up there from a very young age in the store and in the warehouse, so absolutely. And now I'm very focused in our online activity, e-com, as well as marketing with the company.
And I'm Denise Hoos. I do technology strategy for Twin Liquors. I've been working there for about 5 years. We've started out doing retail e-commerce on a different platform that's unique to beverage alcohol, but are really excited about what we're able to do and hope to do with the B2B platform.
And so can you tell us a little bit about your wholesale strategy for e-commerce? Because I understand it's not your first foray into e-commerce, but what are you currently hoping to achieve in your move on to BigCommerce for your wholesale channel?
Absolutely. I think if we back it up a little and talk about the history of Twin Liquors a little bit, and we got in business back in 1937, so 86 years now, 4 generations, and we are retail and wholesale across the state. So yeah, basically at the center of everything we do is customer service and building relationships with our team, with every one of our customers. And when we got into the wholesale business, it was actually through a customer service and that relationship. One of the most prominent bars in Austin at the time were right across from our warehouse at 7th and Red River. And we allowed them to use our parking lot across the street. And in return, they thought that was so amazing that we would be willing to open up our space for them, that they turned around and said, hey, have you all ever thought about getting into the wholesale business? Because we would definitely buy from you all. We were only retail at that time. And we said, absolutely, any way we can help our community. So that's how we kind of got our foot in the door, and I just wanted to set that tone for that is at the forefront of what we do is customer service and building those lasting and important relationships.
Yeah, and our current technology platform is really an order management system. I think you called it the not sexy approach, so we're definitely in that space. But it was built proprietary in 2008, so it's been out there for a while. Our end users are not terribly technical. They are usually purchasing at 2 o'clock in the morning after the bar is closed and they need to get more product. And so we have a very unique and diverse kind of customer and client base that we needed to, especially in this crawl, walk, run approach, make sure that we are bringing them along with us in this whole exercise.
And we were discussing sort of beforehand how your client base isn't looking for fantastic pictures online. They understand what Tito's is or Grey Goose is. They know the SKUs, and they generally order the same quantities.
Right.
And so as you've thought about that buyer journey that they're going on, it's 2 a.m., they've just finished a shift, they're tired, and they need to restock their bar. How are you trying to move that buyer journey online to make it easier for them?
Well, I can answer that one. Right now, we have kind of a subset. They're already online. The buyer journey is really about, to Michael's point, that whole end-to-end customer experience, right? So the upfront ordering purchase or the ordering process is important, but we want to make sure that we can also fulfill and do all of that. So what we want to be able to do is keep it as simple and as basic as possible, with the ability to use the platform in the future to grow into more robust features and functions. And that's really, like I said, kind of back to that whole, we can maintain the loyalty and the relationships we have as long as we can make sure they understand why we're doing what we're doing and how we're doing it. And that was really important to us when we selected the platform.
One of the things that we spoke about, and this is true, I think, for all B2Bs, is the repeat purchasing. You know, I've stocked my bar, and I know that in general, I need to restock vodka on an X frequency, tequila Y frequency, probably if you're on Rainy Street, tequila is, or mezcal is probably particularly popular. So how are you thinking about making it easier for those sort of almost repeat purchases that happen on a reasonably frequent basis?
Yeah, the shopping list was a really big deal for us because right now, customers shop off of an order form. To your point, they know what Tito's is, they know what Grey Goose is. They may want to try something else new. So when they actually stock their bar originally, they want to add different products. So that ability to shop exclusively from an order form, if you will, or from that shopping list was a really, really key requirement for us. But also the ability to punch out and be able to shop in the actual catalog and add more things to that list was also something. So giving them that flexibility and that variety to accommodate what they want and when they're shopping. And who's shopping, really, because the bartender doesn't want to shop. The bartender just wants to fill the order. But the general manager may want to look at new products and be able to punch out and look at the catalog.
And what's interesting with our company dynamic, too, is that while the alcohol beverage industry nationally is a three-tier system, meaning you have the supplier, distributor, and then the retailer, we're also a fourth tier in Texas. So as a retailer, we're also able to be a wholesaler to bars and restaurants. And there's that synergy that a lot of our e-com and a lot of our in-store shoppers are actually the people that are running the bars and managing the hotels and are that front-facing customer service when folks come in Austin. So that synergy is huge, and it's been important. It's a very important part of our business.
And how do you think about fulfillment as well? So as you're getting that order in, how are the bartender, am I fulfilling that order? How are you fulfilling that order, and how am I getting those products there?
Right. In the current system and the way that we're going to introduce our first phase, it's going to be pretty similar to what they do today. It just comes across as an order. It actually gets integrated into our ERP system, and then that gets fulfilled by the warehouse or the store that's fulfilling it. There's a whole bunch of legal ways to fulfill. And then we kind of ship it and send it out and get it to them based on the delivery date and when they're looking for it. They're very used to simple, basic, I just want to write in what I want, that we're going to have to help them accept and understand how we can start to automate that. So we're really excited after we get this first phase done about the plugins and the additional functions and features we can add that'll start to automate that, not only for us, but for them as well. Kind of so that they get to a point where they don't know how they functioned without it. But right now, I mean, we have bars and restaurants that'll just text the salesperson of what they want. And we figure out how to get it shipped. But this is, for some of our customers, this is a really, really big step. And for others, they're already doing, or they're transacting on our current website. So quite the variety.
And I'm very curious here how the discussion has gone with the sales team internally as you start to talk about this change. We mentioned it. It was mentioned by John actually in our keynote earlier. This isn't the death of the salesperson. We're just going to make them more efficient. This is often a contentious little subject. So how have you handled it?
I think the sales team is they're very excited about this. I would say they're not. This is something that they're looking forward to, and I think they're ready to get to the run phase sometimes, and we're kind of reminding them that, hey, we need to do it this crawl, walk, run approach. So, I would say they're generally excited.
Well, and I think it gives them an ability to be proactive in a way that they're not able to be right now. They're getting phone calls all the time. I couldn't find this on the website. I have to have this brand in stock because we're doing a cocktail special. So, they're spending a lot of time reacting, whereas I think they're hoping, and what we hope to realize is the fact that this will help them be proactive and be able to kind of get ahead of some of this.
100%.
Yeah, and I think everyone in the room resonates with us particularly. We're talking to the salespeople. What we're going to enable you to do is not have to pick up the phone or answer that text and place that order. That order can just be placed online.
Right.
And you can still get commission for it if this is your customer. But you can then be proactive in the upsell and the cross-sell. And so you mentioned upsell and cross-sell there. So you don't just sell liquor, you sell ancillary products too, glassware. How are you thinking about trying to cross-sell those products into a merchant base today that might just knows the SKU for Tito's and is putting the quantity on the order form? How are you thinking about?
Well, the platform, I think, will allow us to be able to do that because the marketing and the promotions will be able to present to them either on the landing page or within the actual shopping experience to redirect them into these ancillary products. We have customers that are like, we had no idea you sold glasses and napkins. And so those are the kinds of things we want to be able to kind of just add some dimension to their shopping experience that they're not necessarily able to do today. Right now, because the platform doesn't allow it, the one that we have, but also because they just they haven't even thought. They just think, oh, it's Twin Liquors, it's just liquor. And we're excited to kind of expand that.
Yeah, I think that's great. And you know, we talk about crawl, walk, run, but in phase one, and you said, you know, you're implementing BigCommerce at the moment, phase one isn't transactions. You won't be transacting. You'll be taking an order form, but you won't, the transactions won't be in BigCommerce, but that's a phase two.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and then we'll look to the automation with the ERP system, and it's kind of fun to look at subsequent phases after that, just looking at all the additional features and functionality, and everybody, again, wants to run or fly, and we're trying to get them back to, let's just replace what we have and get it started and get it stable, and then I think we'll get all the momentum we need, not only from an internal perspective, but from our customers as well. They'll be looking forward to just seeing what else we can do and how we can help them do their business.
Yeah. And so Michael, as a family business, does this, and we often hear, and I'm curious your answer to this question, we often hear that it's the new generation coming through that forces this change. You know, it's the current owners that aren't necessarily as up to speed with e-commerce and don't necessarily feel that it's needed.
Yeah.
Was that you may have to be political in your answer here, I don't know, but was your sense, was your feel, or was everyone behind this from the get-go?
I would say everyone's been behind it from the get-go, honestly. And you know, we really look at technology and e-commerce as a way to just continue doing what we've been doing. It's how can we use this tool to spread our message and make it easier for our end customer? Not the opposite way around, saying, oh, we need e-com to do this. No, it's just we need e-com to take what we know how to do and accelerate it to the masses and make it easier for everybody all around.
I love that. And that's exactly it. When we meet with merchants, start with your customer. So to understand that customer journey, did you go out and speak to customers, interview them, or did you already have a pretty good sense of what they were doing?
I would say we have a very good sense of what they were doing.
Yeah.
Because our team is so hands-on and so involved in every aspect, absolutely we know the process.
They're at the bars selling till 2 a.m., so they understand.
Or they used to be the people selling at the bars, and now they're our sales team.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, and so as you've gone through this journey, and as we kind of wrap up our discussion here, are there things that you know, as you embark on the journey, you think are pieces of advice that you would instill to merchants that are embarking on this endeavor that maybe you hadn't expected or thought about? And I know you're early in the journey, but just very curious.
I would say everyone's quick to that run and fly phase, and you know, we're gonna jump on this and get it done this way. But I've really appreciated and learned to kind of respect the crawl, walk, run phased approach with Denise's leadership. So I'd say that's been the most interesting, that you think kind of it's all this like flip a switch kind of thing. Well, yeah, tech can do that in ways, but there's a lot of the behind the scenes, the planning, the process, and how do we need that tech to work for us in result.
Sure.
And I think it's a little bit, just to keep it simple, is the what versus the how. We tend to get really, especially with a great platform like this, is how could we do this, how could we do that? But having a plan of what it's going to look like and kind of the phases and the approach you're going to take, that's really important. That's been very helpful for us to really look at that and say, okay, yes, there's probably a lot of ways on how we could do it, but it's really what is the objective and the timing of what you're choosing to do next. So.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining me both on stage. I really appreciate you telling the story. Anyone who is looking to purchase some liquor whilst they're in Texas, here in Austin, find Twin Liquors. They are all around the city. It is where I do most of my purchasing. So
welcome to Austin.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you both for joining me.
Thank you.